The Long Fang pack is all painted. It's just the bases to go. Ow! Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, another update on the Space Wolves. I've actually finished painting the Space Wolves now, just got the bases to do, and as you know from yesterday's video I had a bit of a disaster with the bases. Basically had to strip them and re-wash them because the resin was sort of seeping. So I've done that. I've just primed them. So I've primed them first with black. I left black underneath because I like to have black underneath on my bases, and then I've primed them with a grey primer. So I'm now ready to repaint them, and I have my fingers firmly crossed this time they'll be okay. They've had a lot of soaking and a lot of scrubbing, so fingers crossed they'll be okay. Okay, so yeah, I've now done all the weathering on the actual men, so let's zoom in and have a closer look at the work that I've done. Okay, so for the weathering on these guys, I always say weathering, it's more like battle damage than anything. So on the actual armour itself, I basically did like a scorched brown and then a black sort of battle damage, just to make it look like scorch marks really. And then on all the metal I went in with some typhus corrosion, and then I dry brushed that over with an orange to give like a rusty effect, and then I went in with some rune vein steel and just edged highlight some chips back in. And as you can see, this is the results, and I really like how they look. I want them to look weathered, but I don't want them to look so weathered that you can't see all the work that I've done. For example, all the glazing and stuff on the grey. I don't really want to hide that too much, but I want them to look like they've obviously seen a good battle. So I just finished spinning this guy round. I will be adding some blood effects as well, just on the axe and stuff, once I've finished. So that's that one. Just run through the others. So that's that guy, and again exactly the same techniques. A bit of sort of almost, well, I used a dry brush, but I sort of almost stippled it on with the dry brush, as well as doing a few bits of dry brushing. So it's got a sort of varied techniques as such. Just spin him around. It's got some work on his helmet there. Tried to do some weathering on this sort of area because I figured he'd have his arm up most of the time holding that weapon, so he's probably going to get quite dirty or scorched there. So that's that guy. On his legs there, on his backpack, just spin him around. Don't really need to probably talk too much about these. I think you can see the weathering for yourselves. I do avoid putting the weathering on the actual chaos parts. The way I see it, for example here, I try to do some weathering next to the chaos parts, because the way I see it is they had their original armour on, it got battle damaged, this is a scorch mark from that battle damage, and then he's taken this shoulder pad from a dead chaos marine and stuck it on basically. So I've sort of tried to get battle damage next to the chaos parts if I can, because in my mind's eye that's sort of what's happened. That's him there. On his knee, and where I had obviously that sort of big like scorch mark actually in the plastic, it sort of gives some depth to the weathering as well, which is quite nice. Spin him around, just a bit on his backpack, on his legs, and then on his shoulder pad. That's that guy. Then the last one, that's him. I had to do some weathering in this sort of area because to be frank, the mould wasn't very good. I mean, these are old Space Marines, you know, and the quality of the plastics aren't that great. So I did some weathering there, and you'll notice some weathering sort of down here where I've purposely gone in and chipped that. That area there I would have taken off all the purity seals, because the models would have originally had purity seals on the legs and stuff, so I would have scraped them all off. Bit of weathering on the backpack there. I will also add a few little bits of blood effects around these skulls. Not too much, just probably in the gaps of where the skin meets the skulls, just to add a little bit more detail to them. So that's them. So again, went in typhus corrosion on most of the gun. The front barrel's got the standard weathering I put on the armour, and then of course I've gone back in and I've done sort of chipping effects. That's how that's looking pretty beaten up and old. You can still see all the details, exactly what I'm going for. And the Space Wolf one, so this is the one with the bullet hole on the shoulder pad. So I just weathered that up quite heavily around this area and also up on here, just to indicate that it's been some sort of explosion. Got the usual chipping there on the front of the barrel with some sort of scorch burn marks. Looking pretty cool. So that's that one. Similar idea on this one. Didn't go quite so heavy on this one because the other one's quite heavy, and of course you've got the freehand without any damage on this one. And then the last Chaos one is that one, and again typhus corrosion, some chipping. Typhus corrosion is a great product. I did use riser rust on my early stages to make the like corrosion rust effects, but that went, my riser rust went all hard basically. I had to bin it. And since then I've been just using Troll Slayer Orange, just a dry brush, and to be honest it has exactly the same effect. So yeah, don't buy Riser Rust, just buy Troll Slayer Orange. Okay, so that is how far I've got up to. As I said, it's basically they're done. All I've got to do is paint those bases, and then I can glue these together, pin them on the bases, and they'll be ready for a showcase video. Now potentially I might wait a couple of days to see if these bases start seeping again, but we'll have to see how impatient I am. Okay, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next one.